Hi everybody, welcome to Live Blogger. In the previous video I showed you how to design this card using HTML and CSS. Now in this video I'll show you how to add the animation for the elements inside the card. So if I refresh this page, here we can see we have this animation for all these elements. So in this video I'll show you how to add this animation using a library called GSAP. So let's get started. Now the first thing you have to do is get the CDN of GSAP. So just Google for GSAP CDN and you'll find this website called cdnjs.com. So let's open this website. And this is the GSAP CDN. So let's copy this GSAP min.js from here. So let's click on copy script tag. And let's go back to our source code. And let's go to the HTML file. And let's go just before the script tag. And I'll just paste it over here. Alright, now that we have the CDN, let's go ahead and start writing the code in our JavaScript file. So we have this main.js file. So let's open it, and the first thing we will do is we'll create a GSAP timeline. So let's create a constant and I'll just name it TL for timeline. And let's set it equal to GSAP.timeline. So this is a function. Right now in this timeline we need to add different animations. So let's type TL from. And here we need to add the properties for the animation. Now you have two options over here. You can add to or from. So if you add from over here, then the animation will start from the properties over here. So if I just type opacity of 0 over here, then it will start from opacity 0, and then it will go over here to the default styles which we have set over here in the style.css file. So we're going to use from over here, and the first thing we need to add is the element. So let's add it inside double quotes. Let's type dot main container space dot image for the image. So if you go back to our HTML file, here we can see we have this image division inside the main container division. So we have selected the image over here. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to create an object. So let's add a comma and let's create an object. And in this object we need to add the properties of the animation. So the first thing we will do is set the y value to -100. So if we go back to our original design and if I refresh this page, here we can see that the image comes down from the top. So we are using a y value. Y value is basically the transform translate y value in the CSS. Or the next thing we need to do is add the duration. So let's type duration and we'll set the duration to 0.9 seconds, and we'll also add an ease. So let's type ease and let's set the ease to power1.easeout. Now if you want to know about different easings inside GSAP, you can just search for GSAP easing and you'll find a lot of options over here like power 1, power 2 and so on. Right now let's save it and let's see how it works. So here we can see that the image comes down from the top. Let's refresh it once more. So the animation for the image is working alright. Now let's add the animation for the other elements. So let's target this heading. So here before the semicolon we can just type dot from for the second element. Now just like we did over here, we need to add the element first. So let's type dot main container h2 because we have an h2 over here. And the next argument is an object. Now for the h2 we need to have a different animation. So if you go back to the original design and if I refresh this page, we can see that for the heading we have an animation where it comes in from the left side and it also has a bouncing effect. So let's do that. Let's type x and let's set it to -50 and we'll set the duration to 1.2 and we'll also set the opacity to 0 at the beginning, and let's set an ease of elastic. So this is an ease that comes by default with GSAP, and here we need to type dot ease out. Right now let's save it, and now we can see we have the animation for the heading as well. But if we go back to the original design and if I refresh this page, here we can see that the heading animation is applied a little earlier than we have over here. So that's because we have added the animation inside a timeline. And when we add the animation inside a timeline, the animation runs one after the other. So here, after the first animation is completed, we have the second animation running. So that's why we can see that we have a long delay for the second animation. Now we want the second animation to run a little earlier while the first animation is still running. So for that we need to add one more value over here. So we need to go outside this object, and here we need to add a value which is minus equals and a number. So let's type 0.5. Now this animation will run 0.5 seconds earlier than default. So let's save it. And now we can see that the animation is working alright. Right now let's add the animation for this paragraph. Now even for the paragraph we have almost the same animation. So let's copy this from here and let's paste it over here. And here instead of H2 let's type P for the paragraph. And here for the duration I'll just set it to 1 second. And then for the animation delay I'll just set it to 0.9. And now let's save it. And we can see that the animation of the paragraph is working alright. Right now the last thing we need to do is add the animation for this button. So let's type .from and let's add the selector for the button. So let's type main container, and we have an anchor tag with the class of btn. So let's type .btn, and then after that we need to add an object, and here I'll just set the opacity to 0, and we'll set the scale to 0.8, and I will also set the duration to 1, and let's set the easing to elastic ease out. Right now let's save it. And we also need to have a delay. So let's add a delay over here. And let's set it to minus equals 0.7. And now we can see everything is working alright. So that's basically how you can add animation for the elements inside your card using GSAP. Alright, so that's it for this video. I will leave the link of the source code in the description. And if you have any doubts, you can ask in the comments below. And if you like this video, please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel to get the latest video updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.